Hi, my name's Kyle, and I like to take long walks down by the shore. I love to drink Monster Energy, and I punch holes in drywall. Today we're going to be talking about Antifa, and just the sheer whatever it is. So, let's get into what I understand about it. My hair's a mess because I'm tired and I don't care about looking good at the minute. But hey, it'll be good like that. Anyway, Antifa. They're a group who believe in anti-fascism, which means against racism, I guess, and, let's just say most people are against racism. We live in quite a modern society. Everyone's accepted. Why are they here? Well, I'll tell you why they're here. It's because they believe in, from what I understand, two things. I'd assume there's a few different types of Antifa. Communism or anarchy. Now, let's explain these. Anarchy is just you're making trouble for the sake of making trouble because you think you're making a difference, but realistically, you're just annoying and no one likes you. Communism. Now, I used to like the idea of communism until you actually think about it. Now, if you come from a poor background, communism sounds amazing, or if you're just really stupid, it sounds amazing. Now, the problem with communism is, for example, farmers is the example I will use. Now, if you're a farmer and you work 12 hours a day, for example, now, and then they implemented communism. I'm not saying communism couldn't work, but it couldn't work now. It'd have to be right at the start of the civilization, but hear me out. And you were working 12 hours a day to get your pay. Now, the government comes along and goes, we are now a communist country. Okay? With me so far? Once it becomes communist, everything is shared. Sounds good? So far. Now you'd think, wow, everything's shared. I get your money, you get some of my money, we'll all share each other's money. The economy will be great. No. There always kinda has to be someone on the top. Usually it's the government or the ruler, so president, king, queen, etc. Now, that makes a power balance that messes things up. So if you have a farmer, for example, who works 12 hours a day, and all of a sudden the state comes along and goes, hey, give me your stuff. We'll give you some money for doing your job, but it's not much. And we own your farm. The country owns your farm. You don't own where you live or where you work, but we'll give you some money for it, no matter what. Now, that means the farmer no longer has to actually work so hard. He'll probably work a lot less, and then the farm will just deteriorate. Now, this is because he no longer owns and makes profit from his farm. He makes very little profit from what he actually does. He's just getting money. Very little of it. So why would he actually do his work properly? Now this would go into a lot of things. If you're doing a job and you're doing quite a lot more work than other people, you should probably be getting paid more for it. Because that's how the economy works. If you don't have good grades, you cannot expect to get into a job that needs these qualifications. Now, as I've said in the past, I'm against examinations to get qualifications, but you need to actually be good at that certain thing to get that job. That's how it works. Now, if someone's actually good at what they do and they're quite high up, but they're getting paid the same as everyone else, the way communism works, why should they work that hard, and why should they work well? Now, people aren't going to work very hard then, because it's a given that you're going to get money by the general rules of communism. Now, that's without the sort of dictatorship reign that it can come with, and it just... And for some reason, people from Antifa believe that, that's the way forward. Now, I get the idea that we're all equal, is what some of them are trying to put across, which is true. No matter skin, colour, your gender, realistically, we're all the same inside. The only difference between genders may be the internal functions in the brain because of hormones. That's the only difference. Women and men, yeah, okay, you sometimes think differently, but on a general basis, we're all equal. Because, social norms and values dictate the way we think. Men and women generally are raised differently, which would cause different personalities. I'm going to go on to another video about this, remind me please, about gender, but let's leave that for another time. But yeah, so obviously, if you aim for a communist society, you're going to mess up your country. Also, my problem with them isn't because they're communists, because at one point I thought that was a good idea too. Because, free money for doing very little seems good, and then you realise, no, the economy and the whole country would fall. But anyway, if they haven't realised that yet, educate them, even though they probably won't listen, but hey, some people are beyond help. My problem with them, though, is the fact that they throw milkshakes and bricks and cause riots. Now, throwing a milkshake is one thing. It's childish. Infants throw food. Or young children. If you're throwing food or drink at people because you disagree with them, please go back to your local primary school, or if you're in America, your local elementary or nursery school, because you are not civilized and you do not belong in society yet. Now, just because you think that throwing milkshake is doing something, it's really not. It just makes you look stupid. Now, moving on to the slightly more serious thing, bricks. If you throw a brick at someone, I'm against violence, but I fully would not be mad at that person for beating you up if you throw a brick at them. Because that can actually take someone's life if you hit them in the head. Don't throw bricks at people. There is something wrong with you if you do that. My real problem with Antifa, is the fact that they call people Nazis and hate free speech. Now, if you hate free speech, that takes away your ability to call people Nazis, because that is profiling in such a way it's quite heinous. You can't just go around calling people Nazis. That's offensive to a lot of people. And I'm sure you wouldn't like to be called that either. Now, again, them calling people Nazis is pretty hypocritical, because they believe in an ideology that Stalin supported, who, guess what, killed many, many more people than Hitler. So, really, I think the people that they call Nazis are just a little bit better. But hey, that's just me. But yeah, don't incite violence on people, no matter what their opinion. You know, if someone's a Nazi, yeah, their views are disgusting. You know, they're intolerant. They're terrible people. But don't beat them up, throw bricks at them, threaten their lives in any way, because that just makes you as bad or even worse than them. Because you become intolerant. You know, hate speech. Yeah, it's disgusting. You should not be spreading hateful speech about anyone. But providing they're not causing physical harm to others, just leave them be. You know, they're idiots. Everyone else knows that. Eventually, the ideology will die out. You know, so why cause violence when it's not necessary? Just live your life. Stop thinking that violence is the way. It's not. Because, quite frankly, if someone were to throw a brick at anyone I cared about or me, I'm not gonna just sit there and accept it. Nobody is. They're probably gonna just go nuts and throw it right back, or approach them with it and become violent themselves. Therefore, you're risking your own life and theirs. Do not do it. It's just idiotic. You're causing problems you don't need to. If you don't agree with someone's political views, don't listen to them. Simple as. As I've said in the past about my jokes offending people, they could just not listen, but they choose to. With everything, if there's something you don't want to hear, don't listen to it. It's that simple. And if you're saying, but they're everywhere, I can't not listen, just tune out. It's not that hard. Listen to music. Be a functioning member of society. Just don't be violent. It makes you look like a complete screwball. Peace.